Hello peeps, Hillbilly Arthwit. I am doing a bit of stuff here. I got the Land Rover carburettor into bits and I've cleaned it all out. I'm making some gaskets out of cardboard. That's what I'm doing today because I got a bit of... my missus is going into hospital tomorrow. She's having quite a big operation, so I'm just trying to amuse myself doing something here to take my mind off it all. So, what we're going to talk about today. Now, it suddenly occurred to me, we see a lot lately, by the way, just use oil. It occurred to me a lot these days that everybody on the other side of the equation pretend to be all for minorities, when the farming community in Wales is a minority that's been an indigenous farming community that's been in Wales for hundreds and thousands of years, is being picked on, just like the Aborigines were, by so-called nice people, and we know they're not. So they're trying to give their land away that they've worked hard for to big companies that are greenwashing our beautiful country. Fabian stuff again. And also, another minority that's soon to be a minority in England is the white person. Now, I know it's bizarre. You're not even allowed to mention this. That maybe in 50 years. So I've been alive 53 years. So in the next 50 years, the white British person in the UK will be a minority. Think about that. Why are we not allowed to talk about that? That's what I find so strange. All our history is being attacked and forgotten. And whatever you think of us, why would you want to remove us out of the equation? You've got to be some pretty sad people and horrible people to do that. It's ethnic cleansing, isn't it? Really. Now, why, as a person like me, whose pretty much all-time favourite politician is Tony Benn, and I'm stuck in the middle of everything, not allowed to talk about the possible eradication of the white British person and making them a minority in their own country? I don't understand that. That's not... Surely I should be worried, and people with families and should be worried that in my lifetime again, you could be a minority. And if you look in 100 years in the future, the UK could be basically a Sharia law run country in one half of it. All our cities will be certainly not run by the white British person. And I'm not being racist, I'm just saying the truth. I don't think it's racist to tell people what's going to happen, is it? Now, I just find this extremely odd. We have people on one side of the opposite side to what I think it's okay to eradicate the indigenous British white population and replace them with something else that they think is better. But when they look into it, Sharia law and forced marriage and everything like that, anti-gay views, anti-LGBT views or whatever, doesn't align with anything that they want. So in 100 years' time, everything that they want, that they will get, will mean that all the views that they want and all the things and policies they want will go. Because the then UK population will be mostly Muslim and other categories of religious groups who don't want women to have the freedom and religious freedoms Sharia law will certainly be in place in Birmingham and possibly London. We see the white flight that's going about. I don't blame people. I got lots of friends who've moved from Brum and moved to Wales. And originally I was thinking a bit about it like that. But now I can see why. Because their views really don't mix with the other population. Why would you want to bring your family up in a population where they've got some bizarre stuff that you don't really belong to? Hope the microphone's picking this up, by the way. So that's really what I was talking about. You can't even have a discussion about it. I'll be called names on here now. Certainly people, even my own cousin said to me one day, and I'm just a person, you know, worried about the future of the UK. Now, as I've said to you before, I do my videos on here, but I'm a really positive person. In my normal life, I speak on here, but in my normal life, I'm just keep myself to myself, really. And I'm just a positive person. I'm happy in my own company. I love being with my missus. But I just talk about things on here that I talk to and think about when I'm going about my day. And I talk to you as if you're my friends, as if I'm talking to somebody in a pub. That's how I talk on YouTube. And we often discuss things like this, people I know. You're not bad people at all. You're not a bad person to wonder if... Now, this is factually true. Over 25% of all the Muslim people living in the UK, this is well over 25% of them, take their daughters out of school at 16-year-old and send them off to Pakistan to be married. And this marriage has been decided when they were about 10-year-old. And they can't refuse. Now this is happening in the UK now. And also they're cutting them, as you know, I won't say much more about that. Now, I don't happen to agree with that. But if I mention that, all of a sudden you'll get called these names, and you're just bringing up a thing about women's rights. Another thing with this trans ideology at the moment. I got no problem with gay people at all. Nothing. They do what they want. Just normal people like me and you don't want to hear about this. When you meet somebody, you don't suddenly meet somebody and say, "Hey, I'm heterosexual." And you don't say that the first time you meet somebody, do you? So why on earth would you want to do that when you meet somebody? This is the bizarre situation we're in now. And if somebody like me or you says, well, there was only, is it Robert Winston, one of the best surgeons who brought in IVF? He was talking about this on Question Time, and he got absolutely destroyed by people trying to remove him from the discussion, saying there's only two genders, and he was saying it's all in your DNA and your X and Y chromosomes. If you've got a guy in his late 40s dressing in women's clothing, I think what they've mostly discovered is that it's something else. It's not wanting to be a woman. It's something more than that. It's a bit perverted. Now, that's what these studies show. And I find it, and lots of people watching my type of videos find it a bit odd. Can you imagine having a Catholic priest wearing a tutu and with his balls hanging out, lap dancing to young kids under 5-year-old? Because that's what's happening in Wales now and in England, in schools. Now, if a Catholic priest did that, he'd be called a pedo, wouldn't he? But you have other people doing that, and I would prescribe them. I wasn't around, or I was around, but I wasn't old enough to realise what was going on when the pedophile information exchange happened, when these people were about in the 70s. I think it's a similar thing now, because these people wormed their way into the church, they wormed their way into these LBGT things, BLT thing, and it's just perverted stuff. And the worst thing about it all is, I find, that you've got young people from 5-year-old in Wales being taught that to be your happy, you have to have an operation or take certain things to make you change from being what you are when you're born. That's encouraging mental illness in my mind, because why would you not be encouraging people to be happy in your own body? You know, we all know that. It's just sad, isn't it? Just really sad. Well, I just swallowed a fly then. So that's Gaz's discussion for today. I won't be putting a video up tomorrow, as I said earlier in this vid. So there we are. So that was my discussion today. From Gaz, who's a positive guy, but still finds it bizarre that if you say or discuss anything these days, you're basically called names when you're only bringing up something that you're worried about. No, you shouldn't have to be afraid to bring things up that you're worried about, should you? Especially when they're perfectly valid. So there we are. All the best, Gaz.